And I would try to talk to him like, hey, how are you doing? Are you comfortable? Are you good? And he just went,
It's very good.
It is.
I've never heard that. That's a very good description.
Very good, yeah.
Thank you so much for having me. I think that I can speak for the whole country when I say that Beetlejuice is one of the most iconic movies ever made.
Yeah.
And it's such an honor to be talking to you here right now, because the only approach I had to Beetlejuice before was at some park, thematic park.
Yeah.
And I was so excited to meet him, but now I can meet you and the curator. So
But
thank you for having
the
me.
movie's really appreciated here. I mean,
Very.
it's appreciated everywhere. But here in South America, especially Mexico, I think they on another level, right?
Yeah, I always felt very special when I come here. I don't know why, but I felt that energy, and I don't know if it's because I grew up living certain imagery from Mexico, Day of the Dead stuff, and all the things that I grew up in loving. So it's a part of me, and so that's why I always feel very grateful and excited.
Yeah, there's a huge fandom of Beetlejuice.
Yeah,
I think people got really inspired through generations, but there's a huge fandom. You're gonna see it tomorrow, the fan event. But I gotta start by saying that I think Beetlejuice is such a hard character to describe, because on one hand, he's like the worst man who ever lived, the worst demon. He's so unpleasant. And in the other hand, I just want to buy him a shot of tequila and chat with him.
And hang out with him. That's exactly right.
That's good.
So
That's
this
very good.
It is.
I've never heard that. That's a very good description.
Very good, yeah.
So,
That's true.
yeah.
Let's switch places. You do the episode.
yeah.
No, so I wanted to ask you, how was for you to create this character with such a great duality in the 80s and now to take him back?
Fun, first of all, fun to do. A little nerve-wracking to see if I could do it again. Well, I hadn't seen it in a long time. I never probably only seen it in my life a few times. Honestly, I don't think I've seen it more than 2 or 3 times anyway, but then I hadn't seen it for many years, even though I'd been thinking about talking about it. It occurred to me, I thought, wait, I have to go look at this again before we go and shoot this. So I went and looked at it, and it, you know what it's like when you do your own thing. Other people might laugh at something you do funny, but usually when you're watching your own work, you're kind of analyzing or remembering or thinking about it. I not just what I did in the movie. I started laughing out loud like I had never seen the movie before. So I was excited. I thought, oh yeah, good, okay, I got that. And then I just thought, well, all right, just the energy level alone is going to be challenging, but also, will it fit in? You can't. On one hand, the name of the movie is Beetlejuice.
Yes.
But especially in this one, when there's, I gotta say, a little more story, a little more spread out with other characters, maybe a little more, I don't want to say dimension, but certainly more dementia, but a little more dimension. Be that guy or that thing, but fit in the story again. It could never be take time. Okay, here's a movie, here's a story. Now let's just watch the Beetlejuice show. It can't be that. It's got a house, which is really an amazing accomplishment if you take this force that looks like this, but weave it into a story. Not an easy thing. Not an easy thing to do.
Accomplish.
Yeah.
As first of all, I love how we get to see more of the afterlife in this movie. I mean, the costumes, everything, it's amazing. So I want to ask you, which was your favorite death character in the afterlife?
ooh. There was the first day that I shot in the afterlife. There was this actor who was a magician, I want to say, and he was trapped in a box filled with water, and his face was pressed against the glass, and he had a hand out, and he had a key. And even when we said cut, he still would try to get you to get the key and unlock the box for him. And I would try to talk to him like, hey, how are you doing? Are you comfortable? Are you good? And he just went, psst. And I thought that was incredible that he never broke.
Whoa.
He never broke character. He was the most committed.
Magician.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was a good one.
I remember the one that I was kind of just visually the most stunned by, and it was in combination with the set, was the Soul Train. And I snuck, you guys were shooting something else, I think over in the office or something, and I went over to the Soul Train set, and I just walked around it, and I was taking so many photos. I was taking so many pictures because everything, even the subway maps and the advertisements, were all really well done. And then when I saw it filled with all the people that were on the Soul Train, I was just like, whoa. And then was taking pictures of them. I think it was sort of the most wide open set
Yeah.
or space where you had sort of the biggest depth of field when it came to seeing sort of like what the afterlife subway looked like. I don't know. It was just visually just very
Did they have
entertaining.
music, or they had the extras, you know, like dancing?
When they were shooting, yeah,
it
they
was
did.
it was
but-
a full number.
Oh, wow.
That shooting that sequence in particular, I remember just thinking, oh wow, I want to remember this for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Like I did everything I could to look at everyone, talk to everyone,
Yeah.
To be
look
present.
at all the makeup.
And we had some
yeah.
crew members that I think were dressed up, like some of the like
Yeah.
assistants that were working with us on set, so they were.
It was-
Everyone got a
family
chance
and
to
friends were
play.
involved.
Yeah.
It was,
The scary baby of
Oh.
Jenna. This moment is incredible. We can't say much because, you know, but just when Jenna have this moment, for me is unbelievable because it's like if already she had a baby in her life. Well, the way how she acts to me is unbelievable, shocking to me because she's so full of emotion and so real. And this baby, oh my God, this baby. I would like to take the baby with me in the house because it's scary, but it's amazing.
I told Tim he should keep it, and shooting that was, oh man, I just blinked on what I was gonna say. But Tim should have kept that. That was incredible. It looks so good.
To get him on a shelf at his
Yeah.
house.
Actresses have to give birth a lot because they do so many movies. It's like, how many times have you been a mother in a movie or something like that? So I just felt really honored that that was my first child.
Your first
in a house.
child.
That's
Yeah, but it's an
lovely.
amazing scene.
And then there's another
amazing.
baby, which is equally amazing.
Yeah, and Mr. Burton, I think that when you first made when you made the first Beetlejuice, you have more like a space for creativity and to make all your eccentric ideas go into motion. But now with all the years, all the expectations you have, you know, your name's like Tim Burton Films, like
yeah.
what does that mean, right?
Yeah,
So
no, I know. I
with
absolutely agree.
with all of that, how did you manage to not let the expectations intervene your creativity?
Well, that's a very good question. And what I did was I just didn't listen to anything. I knew everything that you're saying, and I don't, you know, I never think of myself as a thing, you know. So it's, all that stuff, even though it's nice, is very difficult for me. So I put my blinders on, and I went down my dark cave, and I just said, okay, I just want to do this, and you know, do it for as little, as quickly. Obviously, it had to. I wouldn't have done it without Michael and Winona and Catherine. I mean, so it would not have happened. You know, I had it very clearly with that. So once, if everybody was into it, they would just try to take the same approach. So I really didn't think about all those things that you're talking about, which is not easy to do.
No, it's
but I
not.
really
I bet
was able to do it. Partially because I think at this stage in my career, I had enough of it all, and I really didn't care anymore. I felt like I just want to make something that I want to make.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And I
Go
guess
back to kind of how, because he made it. It was awfully young. It was like
Yeah.
it was your second
you were
movie.
like 30s
Yeah.
when you...
And that's real purity. You know, that's like you're doing stuff. Then you go, it's coming out of a real simple, clean. I want to make this thing. I just got an idea. Somebody gave me a script. Oh, okay. Here, I'm just going to make this thing. There's no
There's no
analysis
noise. Oh.
or analysis of it. It's hard to get that again.
Yeah, it is. And
Yeah.
yeah. So I know. Luckily, I was able to do it, and I had the help, like I said, with Michael and Catherine and Winona. That helped it to come.
And the original idea for a sequel changed like a lot through time until.
Well, no, yeah. I mean, there was ideas. People throwing around ideas all the time, but nothing ever really stuck to me. And like I said, it took all this time for me to realize what interested me, like how life changes and how we grow, and all the different things that I said earlier: life, relationships, life, death, children, everything that comes into your life. I couldn't have done that in 1988. You know, I could only do this now, knowing the things that I've experienced and being able to put those feelings into it. So, and everybody did that. That was the beautiful thing. Winona, Michael, Catherine, everybody put their life experience. So it made it a little bit richer. It made it a bit more sort of emotional to me.
And Jenna was the perfect choice. Like
Yeah.
that, you go, boom. That particular actress person is like, boom. You know, because she represents a lot of stuff coming from Tim, I think, and
Absolutely.
people and how she fit was so
She has like
perfect.
the DNA of the.
Yeah.
That's
right.
But
Yeah.
she's not, and everything. Oh, she's like a Winona character. She's not.
No, she's not.
She's the opposite of that.
Yeah.
But still working within that world. She's the true like heart of it.
Yeah, when you see it, you go, yeah, I can see how that woman would have had that kid, because she's not like her, because you seldom are exactly like your parent, right? Right? So you go, yeah, that makes sense, and so that part's taken care of. When you see the movie, you don't go, well, they just cast somebody to tell the story. It's not that at all. It's actually perfectly cast.
And without giving many spoilers, there's a scene where a character says something like, sorrow has no expiring date. And then she finds herself like really happy about the phrase that she came up with, like, that's a really nice phrase. She's really proud of it. So I wanted to ask you, was there something in this process that in the creativity and the creation of your own characters that made you so proud? Like, I'm really proud that I came up with that idea for my character.
Well, I'm not sure. I think it's really hard because any moment that I had with Winona was really special. Anytime that we could have some sort of connecting piece, because in the first film you see Lydia so isolated and feeling so misunderstood, and she has the Maitlands eventually, but I think she's kind of in a similar place when you see her again in this film. So it was really wonderful to kind of break through that as her daughter, and just give her that comfort or to have that bond. I think that was like really, really special to me, and I was lucky that she was my mother. Very, very lucky. Winona was incredible, and the way that she handled it at any time we shot a scene together, it was very, very proud of that.
And do you relate more to Astrid as a character or to Lydia when she was younger?
I feel like I relate a little bit more to Lydia. The only reason why is because Astrid, I feel, is probably the only person on the planet who doesn't like Lydia. Like, I think everybody else.
True.
Yeah, she's an icon.
Yes.
Well, it's her mom.
Yeah,
It's normal.
it's different
Mommy
for her.
issues.
What a fool.
What a fool she
fool.
is. What a fool my character
Yeah.
was.
What about you, Justin? What made you proud?
I obviously didn't have to do any emotional scenes, but I really, when me and Tim started talking about it, he was like, whatever you want to do, you can really do whatever you want to do. So we really did develop like the character, and I think the key, at one point I figured out like, oh, this is a guy who's like in his own soap opera. Like the close-up is always on him in his own brain. So and he's also, we added this thing that he's like sort of overly emotional and sort of new agey, which I really liked. And so once I sort of had that, and I realized like, oh, he's just in a melodrama, he's just, he's in a soap opera. Yeah. That made it really fun to play, like, because then it was like, everything was heightened, everything was just, devastating or wonderful, or, so it was kind of great.
Like a Mexican telenovela.
Yeah, exactly, like a telenovela.
We love it.
Yeah.
What about you, Monica?
But to prepare Dolores, I needed 3 hours of makeup every day. But also to get in these amazing sets and to wear those amazing costumes of Clint Atwood was really helpful for me to get into the characters. And also there is this scene that we can say much because people haven't seen the movie, but it's like a horror dancing scene. So this role is very much about body language. I felt a bit like a mime, and it was so much fun.
You mentioned makeup, and I think that as an audience, it's something that we can hear often, like, oh, it took 6 hours to make up. It's like, oh, okay, it's part of the process. But actually, as an actress, being in the chair, getting the makeup and getting to remove it at one day and another day and another day, how is it for you to go to
just
that process?
Because each actor has his own process. It's so difficult to explain. But just because when you love your character and you deal with your character, then it's not a job for you. It's a matter of passion. And you think about the makeup as one way that you can have to embrace the role. And every time the makeup was finished, I was someone else.
Okay.
And,
Possessed by the Lord.
Yes, it was really helpful for me. So, and I really have to thank all these amazing artists we had in the film, because it's an incredible work they make.
And as a last question, it's not usual to see as an actor and director, you working on sequels. I mean, it's not something that you commonly do.
No.
Actually, this is your second sequel since Batman, and you were in Batman too. So what is it about Beetlejuice that you just fell in love with him and said, like, you know what, I'm gonna do a sequel of this film or go back to it?
Well, I think it was what we've been saying all along in a way. It's a combination of when it first came out, it was a surprise, and we just tried to, like I said, we just tried to put our blinders on and just do something for emotional reasons, not business reasons, not sequel reasons, not franchise reasons, no reason.
No nostalgia
Just,
reasons.
I like, but it ends up for me being nostalgic, but that wasn't like, oh, let's make it nostalgic. I mean, I didn't know what that would mean. So it's just about the right time and the right place and the right group of people, you know.
And so often sequels don't work. You're always disappointed by them, and that's the one thing we talked about. Like, don't blow this one. Don't put more of him, the character, in it. Don't. He's in it just enough. Don't make the mistake of, oh, you know, when people's heads spin, do a lot more head spinning, you know, because then that's the mistake. It's like when they make action movies, it's like car crashes were great. Let's give them 50 car crashes. You know, there's that. That was the thing we pretty clearly knew. Do not
That's
do
why
that.
I didn't look. I mean, that's why I didn't look at it or analyze it. I mean, people, even my own team were like, maybe you should look at the first one. It's not going to help me. I didn't understand to begin with, and so I didn't want to help. Like Michael just said, oh, let's do more of this or more of that. It's like, no, we didn't think that at all.
Wow.
Even if it turns out that way, we didn't think that way.
Yeah.
One last question, and I mentioned in the press conference that Astrid says like the afterlife is so random. Which would you say is the most random thing you saw on set besides that guy trapped in the thing?
That's so hard.
I mean, the craziest thing, and again, I'm not sure what I'm allowed to say or not, but like when Winona is in the therapist's office and sort of, give birth is the wrong word, but has that baby, like that was just one of those things where I was like, what? Like if you had told, you know, like 10-year-old me, like one day you'll be doing this, I would have gone, yeah, that's not gonna happen. But she, like that animatronic, that baby, that Winona's, you know, that special effect where her like belly gets really big, she gets pregnant in 2 seconds, and then the baby hits the floor. It was just like, oh my God, and there's already guts all over the floor. You're just thinking, what is? That was the most like just sort of mind-blowing piece of like I can't imagine. Yeah, just Tim coming up with that. Incredible.
The thing is that Tim's use practical effects and not CGI, and because of that, for actors is easier because instead of a green screen, you have real monsters that you have to react to. So you really can go farther with your fantasy and imagination. So that's why you are always in front of crazy things every day because you have real monsters to react to. Real situations.
Yeah, I was gonna say something similar. Usually you have a tennis ball or a piece of tape that you have to look at and pretend, and we didn't really have to do that on this one. So it was mainly the practical effects that were surprising. I was doing a scene with someone who had drowned and was eaten by piranhas, and there was a little guy in the corner with a remote control who was moving. So all throughout the scene, we had to re-record the entire scene because you just hear the whirring of the machine because the fish, every time the man got excited, they would speed up or they would slow down, and he was dripping water. He had a water pack that was incredible. It's so distracting but so good simultaneously.
Amazing. Sounds like a great experience. Congratulations on the movie.
You.
And
Thanks so much.
thank you for being here in Mexico City.
Thank
Congratulations.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
It's great meeting you.